Some experiments on electrostatic phenomena. In this module, you will watch certain experiments on electrostatics and learn the facts through important objects. Certain objects like glass rod and silk acquire some static electric charges when rubbed against each other. Simple experiments are conducted to examine such electrostatic phenomenon. Following experiments show some observations involving positive and negative charges. Experiment 1. Procedure. Suspend a pith ball using a silk thread. Now bring an uncharged glass rod near it. Observation. No visible change in the position of the two objects. The pith ball remains in its rest position when the uncharged glass rod is brought near it. Inferences. The gravitational force of attraction between the pith ball and the uncharged glass rod is too weak to cause any movement in the pith ball. Experiment 2. Procedure. Rub a glass rod with silk. Bring the glass rod rubbed with silk near the pith ball. Observation. The pith ball is seen to move towards the glass rod, which has been rubbed with silk. Let the angle of displacement of the pith ball be θ1. Inferences. The glass rod is able to attract light objects like the ball after it has been rubbed with silk. This shows that a glass rod rubbed with silk is electrified or charged. Experiment 3. Procedure. Rub an ebonite rod with fur. Now bring the ebonite rod rubbed with fur near the pith ball. Observation. The pith ball is seen to move towards the ebonite rod after the rod has been rubbed with fur. Let the angle of displacement of the pith ball be θ2. Inference. Similar to the glass rod rubbed with silk, the ebonite rod rubbed with fur is able to attract light objects like the ball. This shows that the ebonite rod rubbed with fur is electrified or charged. It also shows that the force of attraction between the pith ball and each rod is fairly large. That is, the electrostatic force is much stronger than the gravitational force between the pith ball and the rods. Experiment 4. Procedure. Now bring a charged glass rod and a charged ebonite rod together near the pith ball. Observation. The pith ball displaces towards the rods. However, the angle of displacement of the pith ball, θ3, is smaller than θ1 or θ2. Inferences. The electrified states of the glass and the ebonite rods tend to weaken each other. In other words, there exists two different types of electrified or charged states. Experiment 5. Procedure. Charge two glass rods by rubbing with silk. In this experiment, suspend one charged glass rod and bring the other charged glass rod near that rod. Observation. The suspended glass rod moves away from the other. In other words, two charged glass rods are seen to repel each other. Inference. The electrified glass rods have similar or like changes which make them to repel each other. Experiment 6. Procedure. Now bring a charged ebonite rod near the suspended glass rod which has been rubbed with silk. Observation. The suspended glass rod moves towards the charged ebonite rod. The two charged rods are seen to attract each other. Inference. The glass rod and the ebonite rod have unlike charges which make them to attract each other. In this module, you've learned the following. Rubbing or friction produces two different kinds of charges on different materials, such as glass and ebonite. Two kinds of charges exist. Like charges always repel each other. Unlike charges always attract each other.